Hello, and welcome to another beautiful episode of ERAΘΜUS,
the podcast that combines Erasmus and Athens, the two most incredible things in the world. On the microphones, Nikos Dionysatos.
and Iasonas Kolyvas.
And today we have an episode that is extremely remote and extremely long. Today, it's time for Chile. We didn't have anyone from Latin America so far. And
So we had to.
we had to, yeah. It's a unique privilege for us to meet a Chilean in Greece and to see how all this experience has been for her. So, introduce yourself.
Hello, hi. My name is Carolina Garces, and here I am studying anthropology in Pantheon, Athens. It's been fun so far. So thank you for having me.
Perfect.
Thank you for being with us. So, you study anthropology also in Chile, right?
Yes.
Okay. And like you are from Santiago?
Yes, I'm from the Región Metropolitan region, Santiago. More specifically, my university is in San Joaquin, which is one of the parts of an hour away from the center, which is where everyone will know more, La Moneda.
Okay. So why Greece? Like, why did you choose Athens and like the university that you are currently in?
And maybe first, how come you're here?
Yeah. Also, like, what's the situation with Erasmus, like in Latin America?
Because last time I checked, Erasmus was about Europe, right?
But I don't know. They added like British again. So, sorta, kinda. But well, calling it choosing Greece would be like an overstatement, and it has to do with both questions. Basically, what happened was that the anthropology department got an offer from the Pantheon University, which was basically the Erasmus opportunity. They would have any a student and a professor the student was offered like a winter semester there with everything paid, including the ticket. And basically I read that and I was like, this is the only place that will pay me to travel to Europe. So it was like a simple submission. You basically had to like explain why you wanted to be there, what you wanted to represent the anthropology department, and choose like a way to promote the exchange program in the university. Is the Pontifical Catholic University of Chile. Yeah, there it is. It's a mouthful. So they wanted to like promote also their exchange program, which is very strong. Like before I was offered this opportunity at the department, there were a lot of other universities that were like suggested, so to speak, and they had a lot of connections around the world. Like there were some from in China, but this was paid. So I submitted an application and I got it.
Okay.
So here I am.
Very good.
So you also like you didn't have any problem with visas and stuff, right? Because Chilean passport is strong.
I mean, I wouldn't call it like it is strong, but I did have to get a visa because the passport only allows you to be like 90 days. So it was a bit of a process, but it wasn't really hard. As long as I got the documents, it was pretty fast forward. It was just getting all the requirements.
All right. So it wasn't a complicated thing to come here. So, okay, when you came here, the first days, let's say, you explored the city and stuff. What did you like? What did you appreciate in Athens?
And how does it compare with Latin American architecture, maybe, like in...
Yeah, and the layout of the city. Yeah.
Okay, so it's very different in a very good way. I really like how welcoming the main city is. I don't know if that's something that many people would say, because I've discussed this with other Erasmus students, and maybe it's because they have other perspectives, but I found Athens very welcoming. I find that the public transportation is solid, which I rely a lot on it. It's very solid. There's like a lot of paths to something. And while it isn't that easy to get around walking, it is certainly like possible. I don't know. Like there's some other parts in the world I feel like it's harder, and it's also very pretty. I think that Athens is pretty. Maybe not in like how the streets are kept, but there's like a lot of shops. There's a lot of coffee shops. Sorry. There's a lot to do. There's also this thing. There's a lot to do in Athens. You can you can walk around. There's so many historic buildings, historic not roads, like streets. Obviously there's Becca, there's the bar streets. I forgot how they are.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting perspective. And I would like to ask about the sites of Athens. You mentioned the historical sites and stuff. What did you like most? And again, as always, the Acropolis is not allowed as an answer. You have to tell us another place that you liked.
Oh, you got me. Is it allowed? Is in not exactly Athens, because I really like Delphi.
Oh,
We
okay.
went to like with a few Erasmus students, like these trips that ESN like promotes, and it was really fun. And it's so pretty and it's so pretty and so nice to be able to like go up this mountain that like has so much like historic value to it, but it's also like just in itself, like the architect of Delphi is so pretty. So I really like that. That's my favorite one.
Okay. Yeah, the mountain is Parnassos for the guys who are interested.
The history buffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it has a nice ski resort also. Okay. So since you mentioned about the trips, where have you been around Athens? Like except for the city, in other places, islands or villages and stuff.
So far only been in island terms to Crete. It was like one of my interested. Like I was really into going to Crete, especially because there's this like 3,000-year-old olive tree, and I really wanted to see it. So I took like a weekend trip there. Once I got like my student card, because I really wanted the discount too. So yeah, that was somewhere I went. Other than that, it has been mostly around like Athens properly. I went to like there's like this mountain across Acropolis. Like you can see Acropolis
Philopapo.
from there. Yeah.
Philopapo.
Yeah. It's so nice. Such a nice trick. And then there's like all of those like sites that you can see when you like are around the center of the city. Earlier today I saw there are these ruins that are just like part of like the general like city. I don't know names, but I don't recall names, but I always like stay around to see them.
Yeah, it's true that in many buildings there are ancient ruins incorporated and stuff. All right, so you rented a car?
Huh?
You said you rented a car in
No,
in
she
Crete,
was
or you got a car? What?
in
did you
Crete,
say?
like if you used a car, like during the
No,
trip.
I
Or...
use a bicycle.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I will focus more on the anthropological part because it was my bachelor's as well. Like usually we don't focus on the studies of the people in this podcast, but as an anthropologist, first of all, like how would you compare the cultures, like Chilean and Greek culture so far, like the art, the music, the people, and also like how does it compare the way that you apply anthropology in Chile with here, like from what you understand?
That's a big question, actually.
Huge question.
Yeah. In terms of culture, I feel as though I do have to make this like disclaimer that I don't speak Greek. So in terms of culture, I feel like I have only been observing, which is a very important tool, obviously, to anthropology. But I feel like there's obviously this like there's sort of this window of observation. You can go past a certain point because I can't really talk to people as much as I would want to unless they know English or Spanish, which another parenthesis, a lot of people know Spanish here, which I find very great. But yeah, I feel like there's this different bus culture. I think that is very interesting. In Chile, public transportation is also very important to get around. Not as much as cars, obviously. I feel like a lot of places are just like car centric, and both Athens and Santiago are very like built around the use of cars. But since I mostly use public transportation, I found that, for example, when you want to get out of the metro at the bus in Chile, you kind of like have to make a fuss, and you need to like be very loudly declare like, "Hey, this is my stop." I feel like here people will like look at you, like you just need to move a little bit, and people will look at you and be like, "Oh." Also, there's a lot of willingness to talk that I sadly can't reciprocate because I don't know Greek. So a lot of people have like approached me and talked to me in Greek, and I've been like, "Oh no, sorry, I don't."
Yeah, maybe sometimes if you stare at someone long enough, they will start talking to you.
Yeah, but also realistically, like
yeah.
apart from a lot of people speaking Spanish, don't you think that a lot of people speak also English? Like in...
Oh no, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But their level of English seems to be like, at least from what I experience, is customer English. It's a lot of like, there's a lot of people that I managed to like talk to, obviously, in English. But it's not as, I would say it's not as conducive to have a conversation. They usually like use it area when I want to buy something, which of course I understand that a lot of people that are in the customer service or tourist service are used to like people using English to get around here. But again, it's not conducive to ask questions, to talk in the different way that is, because in a way I suppose it's because English is so normative for transactions, whereas when someone like talks to me in Spanish, it's like, oh, this is different. We have another connection, and it's immediately like, why are you doing here? And then there's like the question of where I come from, which Chile. It's so surprising because it's so far away. So then there's another conversation happening. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what about the anthropology part? Like how would you compare like your studies, like, and what you have learned like in Chile and like here?
Oh, I feel like this, at least my school is a very like American school, in the sense of like the authors that I thought are very much from like American universities, like USA currents of thinking. We obviously do pass a lot of like important European research, but it's not as common. Whereas from here, and the classes that I have here are obviously European centric, and so it has opened a lot of authors to me, or like concepts to me. For example, I'm taking this class which is regarding infrastructure, and I have discussed urban planning in Chile. It has been like a point of like some classes of mine. There was a class specifically about like urban anthropology, but here it like the school that we're looking at in this infrastructure like class, it's a lot more focused on the, well, maybe saying the practical application is going a bit too far because it is anthropology, but I feel like it goes about it a different way. It includes and like embeds into the discussion, so to speak, a lot of like public planification. There's a lot of like reading regarding the less conceptual part of things, whereas we mostly see those concepts in where I have studied. So it also, the professor is a lot more, well, perhaps this is a bit of the professional way of teaching it, but I feel like she has encouraged us a lot to like see things different on when we do field trips, when we do field, when we go into it to observe different things, instead of like applying the concept like to what we see, to like really see it happening in the field. Maybe I'm not explaining it well, but I feel like it's a different way of seeing and practicing anthropology, because we are letting the concepts not explain everything to us, but we are using them as tools to observe.
Okay. Yeah, no, it was understandable, I think.
Thank
All
you.
right. So now a more simple, but also very important question for us.
Core question.
Core question of this podcast is the food. What do you think about the food here? What does the food look like in Chile, and also like in comparison?
Okay, so fair warning, I'm a picky eater, so we have to keep that in mind. However, I really liked Greek food. I've discovered that I don't hate tomato as much. With well, there's Slovakia. There's the other one.
Slovenia. Czechia.
No,
What?
Slovakia. Slovakia is
Souvlaki?
Slovakia. Yeah, I
The
think.
food.
Yeah, the food.
Ah.
We're talking about food.
Slovakia. Yeah, we got confused. Slovakia, like
No, not the country.
yeah.
It has a partner, that food, that is always sold together. With the you wrap it.
Gyros.
Yeah, the pita.
Hey,
Oh.
that one.
Okay.
It's the same thing. Like gyros and souvlaki are like
Yeah, souvlaki.
it's a
It's,
synonym.
No, I think we could say that souvlaki is like the umbrella term.
Yeah, it's
for,
the umbrella term for like yeah.
All these kinds of. Yeah, okay.
Well, I really like that. My bad from the pronunciation. I am not. I'm used to like reading words and like kind of like guessing what they are. So that's bad. But
It's
I
okay. We got it.
I love that type of food. I really like meat in general. So it was like a gift from heaven. The first week, I think I got like 4 of those, because it's like just really, really, really good. I've not tried that many Greek food that have stood out to me as much. In the canteen though, they have this cheese. It was a cheese food. It was made of cheese. Yeah, cheese tart, cheese.
Maybe like feta. Was it white?
Feta? Like yeah.
I mean, it had feta, yeah, but it was like I don't want to say pastry because it was not sweet, but it was.
You mean maybe pasticcio, which is like it has pasta and minced meat and cheese.
No, I did not
No?
have meat.
Okay,
It's okay.
We'll keep it there. Okay.
Oh, but
but like also, how does it compare with Chile? Like because you have a lot of meat as well. Like in
No, okay, Chilean meat, like it's like here to me, like above a little, but it's also because I'm used to Chilean meat. I feel like the meat here, it's usually in like slices, which is very nice. But I have grown with like biting into entire piece. Like anticucho is the honestly. So sometimes I was trying to describe. I forgot the name again. Gyro. I was trying to describe gyro to a friend, and they were like, "Is that not only an anticucho? Which an anticucho is like stick with like pieces of meat." And I was like, "Well, yes, but no." Chile tends to like have a lot of like. Asado would be like a grill, mostly grill in outside. Well, here there's like another type of grill, so like the taste is off, and not only the cooking is different, but also the way it's served. It adds a lot to like how the food is made. Also, food here, the spices, the way the spices are put into the meat are very different. So I would say I still prefer Chilean meat, but I'm also very used to it. But it has been so nice, the meat here.
So if I understand correctly, in South America you usually eat steaks, right? a big
Yeah.
piece of meat.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, here we usually cut it in
We're,
smaller
we're more
pieces.
minimal.
Yeah, and
So-
also here we usually marinate the meat.
Yes.
Yeah, with the spices that
Yeah,
she mentioned.
You, from what I understand, like you sprinkle it upon the meat or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't
Mostly.
marinate it
Mm.
from before. It's some liquid. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so let's move on. So I mean, you mentioned gyros. Gyros used to be much cheaper. So I will take you to the cost of living and housing as well. Like from a very simple question to like
Yeah, I think the years becoming more expensive has been like the staple
like
of this podcast.
like
Yes, we
in
mention it every time.
yeah, like in 2019, like you had this huge protest like in Chile about the cost
Yeah,
of
the cost of
like
living.
yeah. So yeah, here the symbol of this equivalent like of the of huge protest is like the expenses for euros, I think.
It used to be very cheap.
And now
Now, not
really.
so much.
So regarding the cost of living, like in supermarkets and like the housing market, was it extremely difficult to find a house? Like
Yeah. Honestly, I had to rely on someone that had already gotten this scholarship, and I had to like reach out to them to be like, "Hey, I know you came, like you went to Greece like 3 years prior, but is there a chance you still have the name of your landlady?" Which he did, and now I'm here because of that. Like, thankfully, it was a very good like contact to have, and she still had it, and she also gave me a lot of tips, and one of these was like to not eat out as much because of the cost of living in Greece, and it seems like it has not really gotten lower than that. Everything seems to be like just go up. I would say that Greece is definitely more expensive than Chile, but there's also the euro to consider. 1 euro is more or less like 1,000 Chilean pesos. And then nowadays is also on the rise. So you have to consider that I have to like multiply everything by 1,000 to convert the money. Euros in themselves are a lot much more than a peso. So when I try to do everything with like cash, because using my card is already like I'm paying more than what you're paying, in a sense. So
you mean that you convert the
due to
the
convertibility,
currency?
like that,
Yes.
Yeah.
she's losing money when
Yes.
she
Yeah, yeah.
converts the. Yeah.
That happens
That happens, yeah, like
often. All right, another question, like more especially about like, South America. So right now here in Athens it's winter, and in Chile I think it's summer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
in
that I don't know.
summer.
It's very confusing.
Also, how
Yeah.
are the seasons like because Chile is extremely long. Like, I mean, I guess
Yeah.
that seasons are very no. Chile is like probably like the seasons are very different
In the north
in
and
the
in
north
the
and the
south.
south.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe best way to phrase it is when you flew to Athens, you flew to another season also, which must have been kind of
Yeah.
weird. Yeah, you can comment on
Yeah.
that.
I'm used to like a hot Christmas. This is my first time having a like cold Christmas, which has been very jarring. I have never had like hot choco at Christmas time because December is not from my understanding. So December is just not cold, but here it is. Though I will say, Greece is not that cold. Like all things considered, I think that it hasn't been like January or February yet. Some people tell me it's gonna keep going like more cold, but yeah, I basically went from like the beginning of spring to the last few like weeks of autumn and then winter in full. Actually, I don't think you guys have like autumn, right?
We
Like,
do.
you
Like,
consider it?
Before the climate crisis we had, now debatable. Like, we do actually. But
Like Chile considers it a lot of they we mark the start of like the seasons like very punctually because they're very different. Like you can distinguish autumn from winter to obviously to spring to summer. So it has been thing to get used to. Basically, we have I having a long winter because I had my winter. I came here. I'm having a winter, and when I come back, it's gonna be the last few weeks of summer till autumn. I feel like it's a bit hotter to what I'm used to in a winter, but I mean, I also get cold when it like drops from 50 Celsius. So
Okay. So we go to the last two questions, I think, and I would like to ask also about Spanish, like and Chilean Spanish. Like Athens is full of Spanish Erasmus people that do not talk to anyone that doesn't speak Spanish. Like honestly, they just love to hang out with themselves. So you speak a very distinct, like very different variety of Spanish. How was your interaction with other Spanish-speaking people? And also, are there more Latinos like in Athens, for example?
I have not found them. Everyone keeps telling me they have met someone from Latin America. I did find a Brazilian person selling things back home. So shout out to that person. He was very cool. He also speaks Spanish. But no, I have not found any other. It's only Spaniards, which they're nice. They have them very nice. But yeah, there's like a lot of Spaniards or people that have learned Spanish here. Someone was mentioning to me that it is not that complicated for like Greek people to learn Spanish because they have similar like vocals, so to speak. And it also,
that's true.
Yeah, it also, I will say that Greek, when I'm not paying attention, it does sound like Spanish, but like a Spanish that I can't comprehend. It's like you guys are saying same vowels, but not that
Also,
much.
we are used to much more complex grammar than Spanish. Because in Greece, you have very archaic characteristics, like apart from phonology, we have cases, we have 3 genders instead of 2, and the genders do not work in a specific logic. Like you cannot understand many times from the ending, the gender. So for a Greek, Spanish is extremely easy, not just because it sounds similar. Your grammar is very simple.
Would you look at that? But yeah, I get clocked easily as Latin American, honestly, not really as Chilean, even though Chilean accent is very particular. Because my Chilean is also neutral in a way. I don't feel that comfortable when I'm speaking Spanish here to use. They call them Chileanismos, Chilean ways of speaking, basically. So it isn't that hard to like talk to the Spaniards, but if I try to like use full Chilean Spanish, maybe it would be. The only issue is that, as we have seen in this discussion, is that I speak very fast. I'm making an effort to speak slower than I'm used to, but even in English, I speak very fast because Chileans speak very fast.
Yeah, okay. I think I've seen like an Instagram reel, and it's like the person who speaks the fastest in the world, and it's a Chilean person. Yeah.
But also, you use Spanish slightly different, right? Like you use a lot of usted and ustedes. Like instead of like in Castellano, like they don't use, like you use it a bit more formally, right? Like
No, that's usted. Wouldn't be really Chilean, no.
Maybe Argentinian.
That's vos.
Vos, yeah.
Yeah, no, usted is more, sorry. Usted is more from Ecuador, Colombia.
You are half Ecuadorian, so...
Yeah, I do. Like, I use it, but not because I'm Chilean, but because I'm Western.
All right. So the last question, as always, is would you consider moving here in any fashion for forever or for some years or for some months? Yeah.
Honestly, I've had a lot of fun, and I feel like there's so many things to do that I wouldn't mind it, but I would have to get a job here. Because again, the conversion from Chilean pesos to euros in themselves, they're crazy. It's not sustainable for anyone from South American, I think, to move somewhere else if they're not getting like the country's space, or earning money in like, euros. But again, I think the cost of living makes me a little iffy on that, because currently I have the contract I have with my landlord is a very specific kind of Erasmus contract, and I assume if I wanted to move here, the contracts and the cost of living would be very different indeed.
Yeah, okay. So let's say you had a job and that part was okay. Do you like the living here, the way of life here, enough that you would consider moving? What would you say?
I would spend a few
okay.
years here. It would be fun.
Okay, cool.
Perfect.
So that was it. It was an incredibly long episode, but it's gonna be probably like it.
Okay, not as long as the country, but
Yeah, not as long as the country, but still.
we tried.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a very special episode because of the nature, like of Latin America, and like having for the first time a person from Latam to speak to us. We hope that you enjoyed it. We hope that our guest enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, I have fun.
Yeah. Thank you very much for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course send it to your friends. Share it everywhere. See you soon from us. And in Spanish, Chilean Spanish.
Adiós. Que les vaya bien. Ciao.
Perfect.
Perfect. That's what we needed.
Bye, guys.
See you.